Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Kristen and today we're going to be doing my October TBR list. So while I get my books in front of me for what I want to read this month, I was curious, do you guys care or have like a preference for both my reading videos and my plant videos? So first off, do you care that I do my my to be read list before I do my reading wrap up list? Would you rather see the reading wrap up list first and then do my TBR, or do you not really care and the way I've been doing it is fine? And then secondly, I was planning out my videos for this month, and like this week is the TBR, next week is my reading wrap up, and then I have 2 plant videos after that. Do you guys want me to like do a book video one week and then a plant video the next week? Or is it fine doing book, plant? Let me know your thoughts down below. I wasn't sure and I thought I'd ask you guys. So without further ado, let's get on to my TBR. So again, I picked out 8 books this month. I only ended up reading 7 last month, which is only 1 book less than what I had planned on. Filming videos, because I pre-filmed some stuff that I was just interested in doing, and I pre-filmed like some plant videos and stuff because I was like, oh, well, I'm doing this already, I might as well film it because I might not have something to do in the future. So I was editing those, and that took up a bit more time than I would have had to devote towards reading. So I didn't read quite as many books as I thought I was, but I'm still going to pick out 8 books to read this month because I think that's just a good number to try and get to. And actually this month I think is going to be a little bit different. So I'm going to show you guys what I want to read on my TBR, but I don't know if it's going to go that way just because there's some books on my TBR that I'm waiting to have come in because I had to buy them. So if I don't have a book on my list, like if I don't have a book that's on my TBR to read, I'll read something else from my list of books that I already have bought. So it might be a little bit different when it comes to my reading wrap up month, but we'll see. Also this month I'm going on vacation for like a week and a half, and I plan on bringing lots of books with me to read at the airport, read on the plane, read at night, and so maybe read while I'm in line for the roller coasters and whatnot. So I'm going to bring a bunch of books with me, so I might actually get to more books this month than just 8, so we'll see. But I'm going to show you the 8 books that I have planned for reading this month. So first, let's start with I didn't get to the Sorceress last month. I did end up finishing The Magician, and then I just mainly focused on reading the Inheritance book from the Inheritance series. So I didn't end up getting to read this book. I did start it, I didn't finish it. So I plan on reading The Sorceress this month, which finishes the second book from The Magician. So they have left France, they went to London, and now Josh's powers have been awakened as well as Sophie's. So Sophie knows wind and fire, Josh is newly awakened, and they are trying to get someone to teach the twins water magic, I think. Yeah, so they're trying to get someone to teach the kids water magic. So we're going on their journey through that. And then after that is the 4th book, The Warlock. And in the 4th book, so in this book, Josh chose a side and it's not standing with his sister, which surprises me but doesn't surprise me at the same time. So I'm sure that's going to go through the journey of the kids learning the final thing that they need to learn, which I think is like spirit or sorcery, and then the kind of coming battles in that. And then we have the 5th book, The Necromancer, which both of them are finally home in San Francisco, but they're more confused about their futures than ever. They haven't mastered the elemental magics they'll need to protect themselves, and Machiavelli is unleashing the city menagerie of monsters that they imprison on Alcatraz, and they're still being pursued. So now they're trying to figure out how to deal with that. And then I realized that I didn't buy the last book in the series last month when I was doing my TBR and my reading wrap-up, I think. So I bought the last book, The Enchantress, and hopefully that'll come in soon. And I mean, I'm sure it'll come in before I read all 3 of the books that come before it. So I need to read that book as well. And then I plan on reading as a palette cleanser between so now that I finished the Inherit series, I need a palette cleanser to read. So I'm gonna try and read When the Stars Go Dark by Paula McLean. So this is about Anna Hart is a seasoned missing persons detective in San Francisco with far too much knowledge of the darkest side of human nature. When a tragedy strikes her personal life, Anna flees back to the place that she lived as a kid with her foster parents, and teenage girl has gone missing from the little town, and it's very reminiscent of Anna's childhood and the unsolved murder of the young girl that happened when she was younger. And as the past is colliding, she realizes that her life has led her to this moment, and she tries to solve the case. So I actually tried reading this before I read Rhapsodic, and I got like 20 pages in, and I was like not feeling it. So I changed course. I was like, I'm going to read Rhapsodic because I only had the first book of the series anyways. And so I didn't end up reading this one. So I plan to read it this month. We'll see if it happens or not. I was not very enthusiastic when I first started reading this book. It was just kind of hard to like get into, and it didn't kind of start the way that I thought it would. So we'll see if I get to this month. I mean, I plan on reading it, but we'll see what happens. My other kind of palette cleanser book that I'm going to read after either I finish the Michael Scott series. Wow, that took me way too long to think of. Either after I read the Michael Scott series or the other series I plan on reading this month, I want to read The Lost Apothecary, which is Sarah Penner's second book. And I actually read the London Seance Society well, actually, I think this is her first book. This is actually her first book, and the London Seance Society was her second book. So I read that in September, and spoiler, I really ended up liking it. I'm going to talk about it next week in my reading wrap-up, of course, but I ended up liking it so much, and so I'm really excited to read this book because it's her first book that she read. And so this is also taking place in 18th century London, within whisper of a hidden apothecary shop and its mysterious owner, Nella, who sells well-disguised poisons to use against the oppressive men in their lives. Nella's dark world is no place for her newest patron, a precocious 12-year-old named Eliza Fanning, but their unexpected bond sparks a string of consequences that echoes through the centuries. 200 years later, aspiring historian Carolyn Parswell is running from her own demons when she discovers a clue to London's unsolved apothecary murders. Carolyn's upended present soon collides with an explosive history, binding her fate to Nella and Eliza's in a stunning twist that transcends the barrier of time. So I thought this would be really fun because, like, murder mystery again. I hope that it's done well, because I always kind of get wary when it's like super past events kind of tying in almost like time travel-y with like future events. It's usually not a big thing for me, but I am super excited to read this. It also gives me like Belladonna vibes, I think it was, or Aqua Tofana vibes, because Bailey Sarian, which if you don't know who Bailey Sarian is, she is the love of my life. She does Murder Makeup Mystery Mondays, and she also has a podcast called Dark History. But on one of her episodes of Murder Mystery Makeup Mondays, she did, which this is like a really old episode, but she did a video about Aqua Tofana, and I can't remember the lady's name, but like it was way, way, way back, like 1400 Italy, and like she was known for murdering men. Well, like women would come to her and they'd be like, my husband beats me, I'm miserable. And of course, at that time, like women don't have rights. Like you get sold basically as a piece of property to further your family, and you don't get to meet your husband beforehand. It's not about love, and you can have a really crappy husband who beats you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Like you can't divorce him. So people would go to this lady, and you had to be specifically like referenced from another person who had already done this, and they would kind of vouch for you, and that's how you were able to go and be like, hey, I need some poison for my problem. And she knew very much like what dosage for the poison that she needed to make in order to be able to like discreetly do it or do it quickly. And she ended up getting caught, but they did a thing about it. And then there's a podcast I listen to called The Poisoner's Cabinet, which they do podcast episodes every week where they talk about a murderer or a poisoner, and I love them. Shout out to them. Really great podcast. I've listened to like 70 something episodes so far. They have so many. I love listening to it. It's my favorite go-to podcast. And they did an episode about the same person, and so this is giving me that kind of vibe. So the last 2 books I plan on reading this month are the next books in the Rhapsodic series, the Bargainer series, because I loved it so much that I had other books planned to buy this month, and after reading that book, spoiler alert, I loved it, and I was like, I'm so mad that I don't own the rest of the series, because I thought that it was like a one series, like it was a newer series, so the first book had just come out, but the series is actually finished, and so I was so mad at myself for not having the rest of the series already, and I was like, well, it immediately is like hopping everything that's on my list, and I'm buying it. So I am buying the next 2 books in the series, which is The Strange Hymn, Hymn. I mean, I'm going to show a photo here. But The Strange Hymn. And then technically the next one after that is I think it's The King of the Evening Stars. And I have mixed feelings about what books I should read in what order, because, or maybe it's The Emperor of the Evening Skies. Either way, that book is like a novella. It's like a prequel where like we kind of, it's in between the second and the third book where we kind of get to know the main male character more and like get his history and kind of like how he became who he was. And so like part of me is like, do I really need to read that? Or can I just read the second and the third book and be fine? You know, like, especially because these books are a little bit more expensive on thrift books. Like, I think one is like $11, one's $10, and like one's like $15. So they are a little bit pricier. So I don't know. I mean, I probably should read them in order because I've heard not to skip it because it's good. But also I'm like, if I can just continue the series without having to read it, then I don't care about reading it. But as of right now, that is the plan, is to read Strange Hymn and then The Evening Emperor, because I think it's The Evening Emperor. Once again, I will put the book here. So those are all the books that I have planned to read this month. Honestly, I'm most excited for The Lost Apothecary and the Rhapsodic series. But like I said before, things might get a little weird because if I don't have those books in by the time that I finish reading other books, then I will just read a different book. And I actually just got 2 books for free because this lady was giving away, she was selling these books for like $1, and it's I saw that she had the Six of Crows, and she had a couple other books, but I was like, oh, well, I really don't care about those books. Like, I don't want to spend money for those books, but I will spend money for the Six of Crows because Sarah talks about it all the time, and I'm a Sarah stand, so I was like, oh, well, I need to read it now because she talks about it so much. And I was like, hey, like, I will pay $1 for the Six of Crows if it's still available. And she's like, yeah. And she's like, actually, you can just have it for free because I don't read them anymore and I don't want to throw them away. So you can just have it for free. And I was like, well, then I'll take the rest of the books you have for free too. Because, like, they were books that I would read, but, like, not books that I wanted to spend money on, especially because there's so many other books on my to-be-bought list that I was just like, not for me. But if they're free, hey, free is the best price and the best policy, in my opinion. Free is for me. So I picked up all those books, and in there was The Red Queen, which is the first book in, I don't know what the name of the series is, but it's the first book in a series, and it has The Six of Crows, which is another first book in the series. And they actually had, I think it's The Clockwork Angel, which is the first book in the Mortal Instruments series, like the prequel. And I don't know if I'm gonna read that or not ever, just because I watched the Mortal Instruments TV show. I watched the movie and I did not like the movie, and I have not read the books. I've only watched the TV show, and I loved the TV show. And now I'm scared to read the books, because what if I read the books and the books are so much better than the TV show that it ruins the TV show? Or what if now I go into the books and I have the TV show in mind, and then that ruins the books for me? So I'm so scared to read that series, even though I know that it's like a prequel to the other series. I don't know. So if I don't end up reading some things, I'll probably start The Six of Crows or The Red Queen. But that is all I have for tonight. So I will see you guys in the next video for my reading wrap up of the month. Bye!